Hello, I'm Kaz Clocks, and I'm back with another tutorial, my second YouTube tutorial ever, and I know it's taken me a whole year and a half to come out with another one, but here I am. Today we're going to be making the Bubble Bunny Balaclava. This is the pom-pom yarn that we will be working with. When I first saw this in the shop, I knew I wanted to turn it into a bunny balaclava, and I had no idea how difficult it would be to crochet with this. And at the time I tried to look up some YouTube tutorials for how to use the yarn, but I think this yarn is mainly popular for knitting with and like making baby blankets. So the tutorials that I did find, I think there was like 3 or 4 at the time showing how to crochet with it. I tried it those ways and it just would not work, and it was so frustrating. I was almost close to giving up until there was one day and it just came to me. I was like, fuck, it was so simple all along. So then when I tried it that way, it worked perfectly, and yeah, so I'm gonna share how I did that with you. So yeah, let's get into it. You will need this pom-pom yarn, specifically by Rico Designs. I know that this pattern definitely works with this pom-pom yarn. I have tried different pom-pom yarns and I will show you how it turns out with them, but like the Bubble Bunny will definitely work with this one. For the inner part of the ears, I use this Amigo XL acrylic yarn. You will need a measuring tape, some stitch markers, a pair of scissors. For this yarn, you'll use a 5mm hook, and with this pom-pom yarn, it doesn't actually matter what size hook you use. I'm gonna use an 8mm, but you can actually use whatever size hook you want. You'll also need a darning needle to weave in any ends. I will be referring to my old crochet notes. It used to be in this notebook. This is my new crochet ideas journal. It's a very nice notebook. I'm obsessed with this notebook. We're gonna start off by making a loop. You will start with the pom-pom in the middle, cross over these 2 sections, grab that other second section and pull out the loop like so. This will be the loop that we will insert all of our stitches into to make the round. Now you will chain 1 while holding on to that first loop, chain 2, and now go into that loop, go to the section of the yarn between the 2 pom-poms, pull it through the loop, and then you should have 2 loops on your hook, and you will grab the next section between the next 2 pom-poms and pull it through. And that is your first single crochet into the loop. And we will put a stitch marker into this stitch right here. So let me grab a yellow one. I'm just gonna pop it in, and we need to make sure that it's marked because we will be closing the round using this stitch. Back into that first loop, go to the section of the yarn between the 2 pom-poms, pull it through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Go to the next section between the pom-poms and pull it through, and that is your second stitch. So you've got 1, 2. Now hook into that first loop, go to the section between the 2 pom-poms, pull it through. You should have 2 loops on your hook, pull the next section through, and you've got 1, 2, 3. And again, now you've got 4. And 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one, 12. So it's looking a bit crazy right now, but all the pom-poms are on the outside and the stitches are all on the inside. So this is the first stitch that we made with the stitch marker, and this is what we will be slip stitching into with that last stitch that we made. So we just insert the hook, grab the next section between the pom-poms and just slip stitch gently, and then you will chain 1. That's the first round complete. There should be 12 stitches in there. For the second round, we want to increase by 6 stitches. So the pattern will be an increase, a single crochet, increase, single crochet, repeated. You will ignore that first stitch with the stitch marker because we slip stitched into that. Find the next stitch. There's a lot of feeling around. So here's the next stitch, and we will insert a single crochet. That's the first stitch, and we want to stitch mark this. So now I will grab a pink stitch marker and I'm just gonna pop it in here. So that was 1 single crochet we put into the next stitch, but we want to do an increase, so we will put in another single crochet into the same stitch, like so. So that's 2 in the same one. You will find the next stitch and do a single crochet, just 1. And then you will find the next stitch here, and you will put in an increase. So there's 1 single crochet, and I want to put in another one to increase it and make the circle diameter bigger. So there, you can see it taking shape. Now you will find the stitch after that and put in 1 single crochet. And then the stitch after, a single crochet increase. So there's 1, there's 2, and then you will find the next stitch. So this is the next stitch, and you will put in a single crochet. And then the next stitch will be an increase. Like so. I'm just gonna go and finish the round. So now I'm putting in the final stitch here, and it should end in just a single crochet, not an increase. So here is my single crochet, and then I will grab the stitch marker and slip stitch with the next section of the yarn to close that round and chain 1. So now we've just completed the second round. There should be 18 stitches by the end of this round, and we don't need that first stitch marker anymore, so I'm just going to take it out and save it for the next round. We need to make another increase round now. So you'll find the stitch after the stitch marker, so this one right here, and you will put in an increase in there. So I've just put in a single crochet increase, and in the next 2 stitches I'm going to put in a single crochet each. So here is 1, here is another, and then the next one is an increase, so I'm going to put in 1, 2, and then 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet into this stitch, another one into the next one, and then increase. Oh my god, actually I forgot to tell you to put a stitch marker into that first stitch we made. So just go to the old one and go to the stitch above it and pop that in. But you should definitely be putting in the stitch markers as soon as you make the first stitch in the next round, because it can just get so lost. I've just made so many of these, I don't really need the stitch markers anymore, but yeah, don't forget to put that in because you will lose this stitch. Increase round. I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so now I have reached the end of the third round. I will find the stitch marker, stitch, and insert my hook into there and pull the yarn through and pull it through again to make a slip stitch and join the round and chain one. You can kind of start to see the stitches a little bit more clearly now. So like there's stitches there at the edges, like so, and then this is the other side of the work. And I'm gonna take out this stitch marker. This is so difficult to show. I had been putting this off for so long because I knew it would be so difficult to show on the camera. Hopefully I'm doing a good job, but yeah, this shit is so hard to show. So we want to do one more round of increases. Ignore the stitch with the stitch marker, go into the next one and pop in a increase, and don't forget to stitch mark that first stitch there. This is where you'll be slip stitching to end the round. So here is 2 stitches into the same, the next stitch is 1, the next stitch is 1, and the next one is 1 as well. So this round is an increase and then 3 single crochets, increase, 3 single crochets repeated. So as you can tell, it really doesn't matter what size hook you're using either, because it's just kind of like loosely crocheted anyway. Okay, so I've reached the end again, and I'm just gonna slip stitch that round closed. And it looks a bit messy at the moment, but it will come together. It's a bit fiddly, but now you can start to see the stitches even better. So like there along the edges are all the stitches, and then this is the other side. If your head diameter is between 22 to 23 inches, 3 increase rounds is enough. So you've done your initial 12, and then you did 1 increase round, 2 increase rounds, 3 increase rounds. If you want a bigger size, say 24 to 25 inches, you will just add another round of increases. And the pattern for the increases I will put on the screen. Now, it's pretty simple. You will just put in a single crochet into each of the stitches. Bind each stitch, put in a single crochet into each one. Making sure you mark the first one with a stitch marker so you can slip stitch into it when you reach the last stitch. Yeah, you will pretty much put in like 4 to 5 rows of just single crochets in the round from here, depending on how long you want it to be. So if you want it to be like just above your eyebrows, on your eyebrows. But yeah, I'll do one round of just single crochets with you here. Finding that next stitch, it's over here. Go to the section of the yarn between the 2 pom-poms, pull this yarn through. Don't forget to put a stitch marker into this first stitch. Pop that in there, like so. Find the next stitch, put in a single crochet, the next stitch, single crochet, the next stitch, a single crochet, and you're just gonna do that into every single stitch. that was my first round of just single crochets, and you can see it's starting to take a little bit of form already. So that was one, and you will repeat that round about 4 to 5 times depending on your own preference. You can try it on and see how it looks. But yeah, this is the other side. So I'm just gonna go off camera and do like another 4 or 5 rows. I kept misspeaking and saying 7 or 8, so that's why I'm doing the voiceover. I haven't done the full 8 to 9 rounds yet, but you can see it's starting to take shape a lot more, and the stitches are a lot more easier to work with. But this is the inside, this is the outside, and yeah, so you will just continue pretty much until you're happy with the length that it sits above your eyes or eyebrows. I don't actually think I will make a full one because I don't have, this is the only ball of pom-pom yarn that I have left, so I can't actually make a full one. You will need 2 balls of this. Once you reach 4 to 5 rounds, you will slip stitch as usual into that first stitch to close off the round, and this is where you will be creating the eye gap for the balaclava. And the number of stitches I found best that works for this is 10 stitches, right? So you're going to count out 10 to make the eye gap. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You will grab a stitch marker and mark out that 10th stitch. Now you'll go back to the beginning and you're going to chain 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Find the stitch marker, pop the hook into the stitch, and just slip stitch. So now you've created the gap for the eye hole. So once you've done that, you will just single crochet all the way around till you reach here. Okay, so now I've reached the first chain that we put in for the eye gap. And what you're gonna do is twist it so the pom-poms are on the back, like this, and you're gonna insert your hook into the middle of that chain. It's gonna pop your hook in to that chain like so, and you're just going to continue to single crochet as normal, and you're going to do that into every single one of those chains that you made. There should be 10. So see there, you're just going to pop your hook into the middle like that and single crochet. And this is what it should look like, and this is the back. You're just going to continue into each of those chains. And then you're just going to continue single crocheting all the way around. There's nowhere to join the round anymore. You're just going to keep going round and round until you reach a length that you like. This should eventually turn into this. So here I am just undoing that balaclava. I've shown you how to make like the main part of it. It might turn into a bonnet with bunny ears and do it as like a giveaway or something. But yeah, I'm gonna show you how to make the bunny ears now. To start off the bunny ear, you will make a loop. And you will put in a stitch marker into this first loop, your first chain. And now we want to chain 20. This will be the length of the bunny ear. You can make it shorter or longer, but I just like 20 as the length. So to make a chain, you will go between the two pom-poms and just pull that bit through. And then for the next chain, you will go between the two pom-poms, pull it through, go between the two pom-poms, pull it through. So there you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 20. So I have 20 stitches, 20 chains. Skip that first chain, go into the next one, go into the middle of it, go to the yarn between the pom-poms, pull it through. You should have 2 loops, and you're going to pull through both of those. So this is our first stitch, okay? And you're just going to mark this with a stitch marker. I'll go for another yellow one. And you're going to put in a single crochet into each of the chains. Like that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So now you should have 18 stitches. Into that 19th stitch that's marked with the stitch marker, you will put in 3 single crochets into the same loop. Okay, so over here, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm actually just going to mark the first of the 3 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3. And I'm also just going to mark that last stitch that we made over here. Find the next chain. You're going to want to work back up and put in a stitch opposite each of those other single crochets you've already put in. This stitch here is opposite one of the stitches, so I'm just going to put in a single crochet like so, and then I'm going to go into that next stitch and put in a single crochet. And you can see here, this is opposite that, this one is opposite this stitch, and it's twisting a bit, but you need to kind of untwist it as you're going and just keep finding. So we've just put in this stitch opposite this one. Now we need to put in a single crochet opposite this one into this stitch, and then one into this one, all the way till we reach the top. This is how it's looking. I'm just going to count the stitches from after this stitch marker just to make sure I have 18 stitches here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I actually had an extra stitch here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So this one is the 18th stitch. Once you're done the first round, you should have 18 stitches going down, 3 stitches in the same loop that you began with, and then 18 stitches opposite the first 18 that you put in. Now this bit is a bit weird because the thing is, you want to keep the pom-poms on one side, right? Like you want all the pom-poms to be on this side, but if you're to chain 1 and turn your work and start crocheting down, the pom-poms go onto the opposite side. So I didn't like cutting the yarn because I like being able to make as much of the piece as I can using one strand of yarn that's like joined together. I just hate weaving in the ends, and especially with this yarn, it's pretty frustrating. I figured out a different way to do this, and it's kind of weird, and I don't know if this is allowed in crochet, but I crochet backwards. So instead of like usual, like turning your work, putting the hook in, pulling the yarn through, and completing the stitch, which means the pom-poms will be on the back. Instead of doing that, I kind of crocheted backwards. So I put the hook underneath, I pop it out from the back, I pull the yarn between the two pom-poms through to the back. So now I have the two loops there, and then I will just grab that yarn from the back again. So now the pom-poms are on the front and I'm working backwards. So again, I'm inserting the hook from the back. The yarn is in front instead of it being on the back as usual. I insert the hook from the back. I grab the yarn from the back. I have the two loops there and I pull it through like that. And now the pom-poms are staying on the front. I find the next stitch. I have my hook on the back, yarn on the front. I insert the hook from the back, grab the yarn from the front, and then pull through both loops like that. And this way the pom-poms stay on the front and the stitches go to the back. So now I have reached that stitch with the first stitch marker. I will remove the stitch marker, and into this stitch I will be inserting a single crochet increase backwards. So from the back, grab this. I'm just gonna pop in a stitch marker into this stitch that I've just made for the next round. And into the same stitch again, I will pop in another increase, and the next stitch will also have an increase. And then you should reach the next stitch marker, remove it, and you will also put in a increase into this stitch. So those 3 stitches, you should have 6 stitches in there now. And I'm just gonna pop a stitch marker into that last stitch from the increase. I'm just gonna work my way up to the top on the other side. I've just reached the top on the other side. So now I will chain 1 and I will turn my work. And for this next round, you can actually work like normal again, where the yarn is on the back and the hook is on the front, like this, because now we want the pom-poms to go back to that other side. So I'm just gonna pop in 18 single crochets. Once you've put in your 18 stitches here and you reach the stitch marker, you will remove the stitch marker and insert a single crochet increase, like so. And you can mark off that first stitch from the increase there. And then you will put in 1 single crochet, a single crochet increase into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, a single crochet increase, into that stitch marker stitch, you will just put in 1 single crochet. And you can mark that again. And now you will just go back around and put in 18 stitches till you reach the top. Okay, so this is our bunny ear complete. To end it, I just grab about this many and I will just snip this off and then just pull it tight. So I had slip stitched and then I just pulled this yarn through and I've pulled it tight. And for this bit, you can kind of just like pop it in through some of the stitches and like weave it in, but also this will get covered with the acrylic bunny ear part. And you will make 2 of these. Okay, so with this yarn, you will use a 5mm hook. You make a loop like this. You're going to chain 43 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now I've got 43. I will skip that first stitch and half double crochet into the next one. Like so. And I will put in a half double crochet into each one of these chains until I reach that last stitch there. And I'm using a half double crochet because it's my favorite stitch. You can literally use whatever stitch you want. You'll just have to do more or less increase rounds and maybe change the length, but yeah, half double crochet is my favorite. I would have used half double crochet with the pom-pom if I could, but I couldn't for that. I had to use a single crochet. We've reached the end, and here is that first chain that we made. Into this stitch, we're going to put in 4 half double crochets. Okay, so here's the first one, and we're gonna mark this stitch with a stitch marker, like so. Then we're gonna put in 3 more stitches into the same stitch. Here's 1, 2, and 3. So now you've got 4 stitches in that same stitch, and we're just gonna mark that 4th one with it. And then you're gonna pull that loop tight and put in a half double crochet opposite every single half double crochet you've already put in. So I can see the next one is in here. So I'll insert my hook, half double crochet, and then opposite this one, like so, to the top. Okay, so this is how it's looking. Once you reach the top and put in a stitch opposite that other one, you will chain 1, turn your work, and now you will put in a half double crochet all the way along until you reach that stitch marker. So once you reach that stitch marker, you're going to put in a half double crochet increase into the next 4 stitches. And you're going to half double crochet all the way back to the top, chain 1, and turn your work like this. Remove the stitch marker, half double crochet increase. I'm just going to pop in the stitch marker in that stitch there, and then put in another half double crochet into that same stitch. And I'm just going to move this stitch marker and pop it into that last stitch that we just put in. And then half double crochet all the way back up to the top and chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so once you reach the end of that round, it's time to cut this off, pull the yarn through. And what I like to do is pull enough yarn through so it can go around the circumference of the bunny ear comfortably, and just snip that off. Using the darning needle, I will thread this in like so. And for weaving in, I like to go into a few stitches like this, one way, pull that through, and then I like to go back, skip this first part of that stitch, and then just go backwards like this through a few more stitches, pull that through, And then I like to go back again, skipping this one, and then just go through a few more like this. And now that's pretty secure, so you can cut pretty close to here. And then I will use this to sew it on to this part of the bunny ear. Align these so it fits comfortably. And I will grab a few stitch markers and just kind of like pin it in place where, so it doesn't move while I'm sewing the pieces together. I'll just pin it in a few places. So I'll grab my darning needle, thread it through, and I'll just sew the two pieces together. And split tight. Okay, cool. So now I've reached the end. I've sewn the inner part to the outer part. And I'm just going to weave in the ends, and I like to weave it in on the back side, kind of like on the inside, so it's a bit hidden. So I'll just go in through a few stitches one way, and then I'll go the opposite way, and then I'll just go the opposite way again through a few more stitches. And then you can snip off a little bit and just pop this in there, and there you have it. There is your bubble bunny ear. And to sew it on, I just like to fold it at the top like this, and then I would just attach it, like say for example this is the balaclava or the bonnet. I'll just sew this bit onto wherever I want the ears to be placed. So this is the pom-pom yarn that I used to make the bubble bunny balaclava, and after I bought this I wanted to see if there are other options out there, specifically vintage or secondhand ones, and I found this. Unfortunately this didn't work with the pattern that I made because I think the pom-poms are too big, so when I used the same method it just ended up being a lot more dense and not like flexible enough, so it just wasn't working. It works better for like making more rigid and stiffer objects. And then one time I was in a charity shop and I found this pom-pom yarn which has a lot smaller pom-poms, and obviously with this one I used a smaller hook, but still I think because of the spacing between the pom-poms and the size of the pom-poms I couldn't get it to have a flexible kind of texture once I had created the crochet fabric. So yeah, here is the vintage pom-pom yarn, and I'll insert a picture of the bonnet that I made using a blue version of this. It was way better for having like denser, sturdier ears that stuck up. This is the small pom-pom yarn, and I used this to make the spiky bubble bonnet, which I'll insert a photo of it here. I will not be making any more of these, and the one that I make in this video I will do as a giveaway. So yeah, go enter that on my Instagram, Casclops, and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. Maybe I'll upload in a year this time instead of a year and a half. Now it's time for a word from our sponsor, Casclops.
Are you tired of having hats that look like everyone else's? Are you fed up with carrying stuff around in your hands and want to lighten the load? Well then, you should check out Casclops. Casclops creates cool and unique headwear with 1 to 2 new pieces dropped most weeks. Look at this bunny balaclava with pockets on the ears. How about this bear bonnet? Oh my god, look! The ears are pockets! Go follow Casclops today to stay up to date with new creations and drops. And thanks to Casclops for sponsoring this video.
Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it helped, and be sure to tag me in your bubble bonnets or balaclavas. I'll release the pattern for the bonnet version on my website, and it'll have the written version of this balaclava that we made here too. See you again next time. It kind of looks like corn on the cob.